Well, hello, hello, hello. Here's another just news thing that it just totally. There's just so much things happening in today's era. It's just a rapid rate, my friends. But there's an historian that claims Solomon was not the king of Israel, but an Egyptian pharaoh. Um, what this guy is trying to do would completely whitewash and rewrite biblical scribes. You know, trying to leave that there's no trace of his gold left in Israel. They're totally trying whatever they can to debunk anything that has to do with the Bible. See, this is not the kind of discovery that Israelite archaeologists will be happy to hear for political and cultural reasons, but contrary to the classical interpretation of the biblical story of King Solomon, was actually a pharaoh in Egypt, claims a British historian and writer who has researched King Solomon's life story for the past 20 years and reached his stressful conclusion. Ralph Ellis is his name, 54 years old, claims that he has the solution to a 3,000-year-old mystery which he arrived at after he was unable to find King Solomon's treasure, 500 tons of gold that are currently valued at $3 trillion. Dollars. It's a lot. And I imagine a lot of treasure hunters, like it's saying here, have been searching. But Ellis is sure that those still trying their luck may find themselves sorely disappointed. According to him, Solomon was not the king of Israel at all, but an Egyptian pharaoh named uh, Shushank the First, who ruled Egypt and Israel at the end of the 10th century BC, identified by most scholars with the Egyptian king mentioned in the Bible. He compared the finding of the king's treasure to a historical legend, such as a baptism in the fountain of youth, and said that the story of King Solomon as we know it is probably a misinterpretation of history. Of course, this would take away the lineage and line of David completely. It says in his book, Solomon, Pharaoh of Egypt, he talks about neighboring kingdoms that looted royal tombs in the Valley of Kings in Egypt and presented the wealth to Solomon as a gesture to prevent his invasion. According to the Bible, King Solomon was incredibly rich. Generations of theologians and archaeologists have went through the Holy Land in search of this capital city, place, temple, and possessions without success. In the end, either we have to accept the fact that the Torah is completely fictional or realize that we were looking in the wrong places and after the wrong things. If his theory is correct, Solomon's treasure will easily be found in the Egyptian Museum in Cairo. He says, Ralph Ellis, according to the Bible, King Solomon was incredibly rich. Well, the Bible is true, and he was rich because he didn't ask for riches, he asked for wisdom, and God gave him wisdom. See, according to the Bible, Solomon built the first temple in Jerusalem and was considered incredibly wise. However, biblical history remains shrouded in mystery, and experts continue to try to decipher and find evidence for biblical stories. They try to decipher the Bible any way, shape, or form they can. I tell you what, my friends, how we know that it's getting closer and closer to our redemption, how we know we are in the biblical end times, is one, you will see political. And we're seeing that with ideology, trying to, take God out of everything, which they already pretty much have. Two, you will see signs in the world, weather events at an all time high, earthquakes, volcanoes, tsunamis. Three, you'll hear of rumors of wars and wars. Not just rumors. Everyone just thinks rumors, but also wars. And I tell you, not just Russia, Ukraine, but one of the biggest wars going on is a battle for the soul of the nations, a battle for biblical truth. Four would be Jewish signs. If the red heifers, the incense being made, the restoring of the stones for the temple, if just the biblical blue dye from the book of Numbers, rabbis saying they're talking to the Messiah, 600 Levites performing rituals, the Israelites performing rituals for the water libation. If all of this isn't enough Jewish signs, and how much battle there's been over the Galilean Heights as of late, too, which is the land of Bashan, um, it's just, there's so much going on. There's so much going on. And it says there will be mockers and scoffers and people who deny the truth in these days. And there's so many people that are denying the truth that it's unbelievable. And we have got to continue to press forward. Do not give in to the things of this world. Continue to look for Jesus as our only way. There is no other way to heaven. You can't do all these different rituals and stuff to get to heaven. There's only one way. It's Jesus Christ being born again. Many people are going to say they know Jesus, but knowing him and actually following him, what is it that he told Peter? He asked him 3 times, "Do you love me?" And the third time, he cried. And he said, "Yes, you know I love you, Lord." We've got to feed the sheep. We got to feed the sheep. Look, if there hasn't been enough Israel signs going on, since 1967, Syria and, of course, Russia as of late have wanted the Galilean Heights. There's been battles over this. There's been just so much going on in today's era that I just hope and pray that people do not get discouraged. Do not take your eyes off the prize. What happened to Peter when he walked on water to Jesus? The moment he took his eyes off Jesus, he sunk. The same is for us. We take our eyes off Jesus, we sink. We take our eyes off of him. We just don't no longer know what's right and wrong when we take our eyes off of him. Look, we got to live like Jesus was crucified yesterday, rose today, and coming back tomorrow, because no one knows the day or an hour. And I tell you what, in Matthew 16, he says you can discern the signs of the sky, but you can't discern the signs of the times. And we are in the signs of the times, and people deny it. People get a tickling of the ear. They get a tickling of the ear. I tell you what, the tickling of the ears are here. People don't want to hear sound doctrine anymore. And it's sad. May God bless you all. Keep your heads up. And remember, we fight from victory, not from defeat.